Hey, it's Michael Day with the Daily Merge, back with you in 2016. It's good to be back. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for sticking around. A couple of announcements to take care of first. Obviously, first, the studio has changed a little bit. It's not quite as shiny as the last one, but I can get it to you in about 10 minutes a day, as opposed to the old studio. It took me about an hour and a half to put together for just a 3-minute segment with all the post-production and editing. This is just me, my brand new Microsoft Surface, and the news. So hopefully you still like it. Hopefully you'll stick around, and we'll try to get you the news every day as promised with the 2-minute merge. Now, with the 2-minute merge, for those of you who have not been following, it's a segment that I'm going to do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and it's going to be just the facts. I'm going to try to remove all bias from the news, as is all too common in today's media, and just tell you exactly what's going on. Now, it is impossible to report without bias. So when I do have to lead in with my opinion or something of the sort, I will do my absolute best to let you know and give you both sides of the argument. Now, I am obviously going to have other segments and other things coming at you throughout the week and on the weekends that is far more opinionated, where my views come into play. But the 2-minute merge is meant to be just the facts. So you give me a couple minutes of your day, and I'll tell you what's going on and keep you informed. So that's the goal. Once again, welcome to 2016. Hopefully it'll be a big year. Hopefully it'll be a much happier year in the news. But obviously it's election season, so we'll see how it goes. We're going to keep it short and sweet with today's 2-minute merge for January 4th, 2016. First story we've got, I'll lead with Bernie Sanders actually had a big month in campaigning, raised $33 million. And keep in mind, a lot of his donations, or all of his donations, are coming from voters, independent people, not super PACs or anything like that. So it appears that he's picking up ground. Now, we haven't seen that in the national polls as of yet. He's still polling relatively well in New Hampshire and Iowa, and those primaries are coming up February 1st, I believe. So we'll follow that. Obviously, we'll have other campaign numbers coming out this week as well for the last quarter and the last month of 2015. The big story that developed this weekend came out of Oregon, where an armed militia has taken control of a federal building. Now, if you haven't heard of this, that's kind of the surprise with us in the progressive circles that I'm in of why this isn't bigger news. And I guess if you're in the conservative circles as well, this is something you'd be applauding or something you'd be excited by. So here's the backstory of what's happened up to this point. For the last decade, we've had a rancher out in Nevada, Clive Bundy, and he has allowed his cattle to graze on what is designated public lands. It was his claim that he doesn't think that the federal government has the legal ability or legal power to say that ground is anything less than the sovereign state of Nevada, and thus his cattle should be able to roam and graze free. Now, this escalated to the point where the federal government came in and was going to take away and confiscate his cattle. And it actually had an armed resistance last year, where you had this group that was not recognizing the power of the federal government bunkered down and had weapons leveled at federal agents. And the FBI and the like eventually gave up. They said it wasn't worth the fight, that taking some cattle and enforcing this law, although there's over $1 million in fines, was not worth the firestorm of a firefight. So they packed up their bags and their guns and went home, which was kind of amazing, that if you level your weapons at a federal agent, even if you don't agree with the law, that there's little to no repercussions. But so it is. So his son was heading up a parade, and I believe that part of the parade they were raising money for legal funds for the Bundy family and everything that they're going through, or putting themselves through. There's my bias. So at the end of this parade, they call themselves an armed militia. They took over a federal building, and now there's no hostages, there was no firefight or anything like that. But they have taken a national federal wildlife building, and they say they're not leaving. They say they're keeping it, and they say that they're armed. They're inviting other people to come armed and prepared for, I guess, confrontation. I mean, you have something illegally. There has to be some form of confrontation. Now, how much this will get escalated, I don't know, but that's happening. So there's an armed occupation in the continental United States right now that you probably haven't heard about. which is very interesting. And I'm going to touch on that. We're going to do a more in-depth piece on this week. Also, John Iodoro from the Young Turks did a great video. I will link it below if you want to go look at that. He did about 10 minutes on it and spells out pretty well why this is as remarkable as it is. So that's the 5-minute, 2-minute merge for 2016, but we got it started. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We will be back on Wednesday morning with your standard 2-minute merge, and that's it. Have a great start to the new year. Hopefully the hangovers aren't too bad. We'll see you Wednesday.